Good morning and welcome back to our next session for today. Joining us today is Revathi Kant, the Chief Design Officer from Titan Company Limited. Revathi joined Titan Company at the age of 22 after her post-graduation in operations research with computer science, and has been with the company for 28 years. Presently, she is the Chief Design Officer, handling design, innovation, and product development. She has brought front-end knowledge of business, pricing, and consumer understanding, ensuring the design team creates winning products. Prior to this, she handled marketing functions for Titan Industries as marketing head, looking after the operations for West Asia and Africa, based out of Dubai. Today, Revathi will be talking to us about brand evolution and challenges of designers. So welcome aboard, Revathi, and over to you for the session.
Thank you, Naita. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my dear young friends, and all these young people who's decided to take on design as their career. So I'm here to speak to you about the brand evolution and the challenges of designers. Give me a moment to set the technicalities right. I will share my slide. Just give me a moment. I hope I'm audible. My slide is visible.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Great. So the topic given to me today is the brand evolution and challenges for designers. You know, I'm a born optimist and I don't believe in the word challenges. Every challenge is really an opportunity. And that's exactly what I'm going to be talking to you today. And since you guys are all embarking on this exciting journey of design and you've chosen this as your career, let me tell you that this is a path full of opportunities for you to unravel things and do some fantastic things ahead in your life. So let's take a look at, so I have renamed this as Design Metamorphosis because I wanted to be talking about the unlimited transformation which is sitting there in the field of design and how it is linked to the brand evolution. A quick look at some of the product brands which we have as Titan Company. And as most of you might know, and I guess since most students would know about the company Titan, Titan is a lifestyle company, a 33-year-old company, operating across various business categories: watches, jewelry, eyewear, accessories, fragrances, and now saris. And in each of the business, we have got multiple brands. And if you see the watches, for example, some of the, you must have, you can see the names. We have Titan, Sonata, Fast Track, Xylus, Zoop, and Power Luba at the high end, Nebula at the premium end. In jewelry, Tanishq is our flagship brand with Mia and Zoya, and now Caratline also with us. If you look at the eyewear business, we have Titan Eye Plus, Titan, and Fast Track as the brands. Tanera is a new entrant, about 4.5 years old, and Skin, our perfume brand. So if you look at Titan Company, we have a portfolio of brands. And, you know, we are talking today about brand evolution. So it's important to see that, you know, our oldest brand is the Titan Watches brand, which is 33 years old. And Tanishq, for example, is turning 25 this year. And Tanera is a new entrant. It's about 5 years old. So even in a company, and look at the life stage of every brand is going through its own journey. Very, very different. I mean, right from the age to what each of them are charting their own paths. So are we saying that Titan, which was launched in 1987, is the same Titan today? Absolutely not. Same is with Tanishq, same is with Tanera. And all the brands have undergone transformation. And Titan also has a lot of retail brands, and I'm not talking about that right now. I'm just going to be focusing on product brands. And if we talk of a product brand, what's really at the soul of a product brand? It's design. Every brand is designed for its users. It's designed keeping their aspirations in mind. And that is why design becomes so important. If a brand is undergoing a transformation, how can design not undergo a transformation? So design is a process. So what I'm going to be talking to you about is just simply two things. And I'm going to demonstrate that with a case study from one of our brands so that I get this message clear. I'm sure you're going to be learning in the next few years. You're going to be in your college about a lot about the the detail, the technicalities, building your skill sets. What I'm going to talk to you is little at a macro level. And when you graduate and come out as design graduates or design postgraduates, you should really be aware of, what are the other forces which play. And, your education will make you a very good designer. But what will make you a great designer is the understanding of other things, creating products of relevance with a lot of differentiation. And that's something I'm trying to touch in the next 45 minutes. And I really hope that you find it useful, and always keep this in mind as you go along the learning journey in the next couple of years. So since you are all getting introduced to the subject, so I thought, let me also bring about this, because I strongly believe, we all know that design is, but it's a misnomer. A lot of people think if something looks good, it's design. But design is a lot more than aesthetics. What is design? Design is a discipline. Design is a way of working. Design is all about creative collaboration. Design is about attitude and the value system. And what does design impact? Design is so very crucial. Design truly impacts the equity of the brand. How the products are designed, how the retail experience is designed, how the services are designed. So the equity of the brand is dependent on design. The whole consumer experience piece, the experience and the appeal, all of that, product development, that's a very, very crucial part of design. It impacts people, processes, organizations, sustainability, whole thing about sustainable competitive edge. Sustainability is a different thing. What I mean here is a sustainable competitive edge in a world where everything is democratized, right from your technology to your costing to everything. And what really differentiates you from any other brand in your category is just design. And hence, design is so very critical to business success. And when does design become popular? When is design accepted wholeheartedly by business is when design is able to add value to business. And that's very, very important. And how design starts with a human-centric approach, which is powered by empathy. And this is one of the key points I would like to corroborate in my presentation. And now let's bring our attention back to the evolution piece. We are talking about evolution. Evolution is a process of change. And what is changing? What is changing around us? Consumers are changing. You and I, we are all consumers. We are all changing every day. Our attitudes, our lifestyle, our belief system, our values, all are getting impacted every day. Just take last 2 years. And I'm sure all of you will agree that what has COVID done to us? COVID has brought in a drastic shift in various things in our life. It has brought a fundamental shift. Some of the changes which has happened in the last 2 years are fundamentally changing the way we look at business, the way we look at our way of living, the way we look at our work, everything. So in such a scenario, can design not look at these things? Of course, design is at the center of anything, center of all of this, and design has to change. And design will have to take his cues. The thing is megatrends. Megatrends are, forces which impact all of us. And that is what, so on one hand, as consumers, the other hand, megatrends are two critical factors which I'm going to be talking to you about. And these are constantly changing and always leading to a new narrative. So what happens is when we talk about consumers, let us deep dive. As a designer, if somebody says you design a fabulous car, for example, the first question should be, who is it for? First thing is you should know whom are you designing a product for. Who is the user of the product is the first very basic question. And that's a very large question because, when we used to talk about consumers, we say, yeah, it's for a middle-aged person, it's for a youth, it's for the old, it's for the kids. Very, very broad segmentation earlier on. And today now we talk of further micro segmentation. We talk of the young professional, we talk of the no-rich, we talk about the traditional rich or the homemaker or well-settled working woman or Gen Z. Further segmentation, because the more you get sharper, the better you would get the insights. And then for the arrived male, gamers, struggling techies, as we go along, every day we have a new nomenclature. Then students, opportunists, senior citizen. So if you look at the whole segmentation piece itself, and with so much of data analytics, all of that available today, this is a field which is undergoing a lot of transformation by itself. So in terms of getting a clarity on whom you are designing it for or who is the user is the first very important starting point of doing things right. So very broadly, consumers today, I mean, all of us agree, are irrespective of where they live, irrespective of whether they are living in a Mumbai or they are living in a small town, all because of the democratization of the internet, about the dissipation of information and knowledge. So there is kind of equality which is being built up. I won't say it is there, but it's being built up. And more or less, consumers today are all progressive and very modern, and they're very non-compromising and demanding. So we used to say consumer is the king, consumer is the queen, and that's truly the case because they are totally non-compromising and they expect a certain standard from the organizations, from the brands, from the companies. So totally non-compromising and demanding. They are experimentative and quite impatient. All of us, I mean, look at your own behavior. And since we are just pressing a few buttons on our phone and, ordering things, getting so fast, and the whole thing for instant gratification is so high that we all have no patience for anything. So the consumers today are very experimentative and are becoming highly impatient, but of course still value seeking. If you're giving them something, if you're creating something, they must get the value out of this. That's really an important piece. Of course they are conscious and they are compassionate. It is a good part because on one hand, if you look at the trends like sustainability on the rise, it's also because for the compassion and the care, the planet, the climate change and all of that which is happening. Today's consumers, especially Gen Z, people like you guys, I mean, we see that a lot of you are very much into protecting the planet, into looking at climatic issues and all of that. So we see there is a change from millennials to Gen Z. There is a shift. Gen Z is a lot more conscious, a lot more compassionate, and very vocal. I mean, not mincing words. They're very vocal about what they need and what they seek, and highly aspirational. And why not? They would want to get a lot of things very quickly, and they aspire for the best. So they're very aspirational, and of course, seek holistic experiences. Why am I telling you all of these? This is just a very, very macro level gist of how consumer behavior today is. And this is, of course, undergone. There was a time, I mean, if you go back to historically 20 years back, it was, whatever was given was taken. I mean, it was not a buyer's market, it was just a seller's market. Today, we are not even talking about that. Today, the table has turned completely. Today, we have to be totally conscious of what the consumer is seeking, what are their expectations, what are they saying, what they are not saying. And if you've got to lead, what are the things you must understand? So the consumer piece is a very important piece. And I know designers are not the ones doing a deep dive into consumer, but as designers, it's important to have a feel of whatever consumers are, how are they behaving? How are their behaviors, impacting design and what you would create for the future. So this is one piece. So keep that aside for the time being. And this is one very important piece about consumer, the changing consumer, segmentation, understanding, getting insights, and then putting it in your design. That's one part. Let's now come to the other part. Okay, before that, design, I wanted to say that it's not absolute. You're not within the four walls sitting and creating something out of imagination which you like best. Yes, creativity has its place in this process, but design is relative. Design is relative to the changing needs of the consumer, which we just spoke about. Design is relative to the business environment. As we said, in the last 2 years, even in our country, we have seen a complete transformation of the business environment. Right from everything has gone digital, and we were not even ready for it as a country. But look at all businesses. How digital savvy have we become? Are we not? I mean, we are not even touching money any longer. Every transaction is a digital transaction. Every meet is a virtual meet. Every business is also going through this. So the transformation has happened. And in such a scenario, design has, of course, got impacted. There is a lot more happening in this field, which has to keep track of what's happening elsewhere. So design is not in isolation. And the other thing which we will be talking about a little more in detail is the trends. As I said, trends impact a lot, and it's important to keep track of that. Technology, and technology is what we briefly touched, all kinds of technology. And what design can do, designers have to keep track of what's happening in the field of technology and what is it the latest they can bring in. Manufacturing, of course, manufacturing 3.0 in itself brings in a lot more, a lot of differences. And as designers, can you be away from it? No, you should be totally abreast of what's happening in the field of manufacturing, which can make your creation totally relevant, up to date, and take you lead that particular thing and the entire ecosystem. So the point here is, if you are a designer, you don't live in isolation. A designer is in the thick of everything, and a lot of factors influence designers' design as a discipline in a very big way. Now let's move to the other influencer I'm talking about, which are the trends, the mega trends, and why it is important to be aware of that. So let me take you through that. And what are megatrends? Megatrends, these are transformative global forces that define the future world with a far-reaching impact on business, societies, economies. So these are touching everybody. These are impacting all of us globally. And that today, earlier we used to say, what used to happen in Paris Fashion Week would come here with a lag of say 10, 15 days to 1 month, 2 months. But today, everything, we are all connected. There is no lag. So a force or a trend which is impacting or which has originated somewhere can impact the world in a matter of few seconds. So to that extent is the importance of these global forces and mega trends. And how do you really look out for it? Basically, it's about observing, interpreting, and it's a science. I'm not saying all of us can do it, but it's important that we do it. And we at Titan have a setup, and we have a set of people who are constantly doing that. It's basically looking at all the global trends, then filtering it from our Indian context, because all the trends may not apply to our geography, and then looking at further filtering it and distilling it and looking at from your company or your category point of view, and then bringing the best out of it and implementing it. So while I'm saying it, I will, when I go through my case study, I will take you through how you can look at it, how you can implement it, how you can finally make a tangible conversion into design. So the point here is trends are important, and these are some of the ones which we look at. So I thought I will just bring the gist of it for you to understand. So if you look at mega trends, we classify it into 3 types. They are the robust mega trends, the robust which are very strong, like the first one, which is individualization, wellness, as all of you know, wellness and connected world. These 3 are really the top of the robust mega trends right now. The other category would be the driving megatrends. These are the ones which has got accelerated due to something. The whole thing on polarization and sustainability. If Black Lives Matter, or even in India, so many other topics of, people are either polarized. There is no gray area. Either it is a yes or a no. And all the debates you see on our TV channels every night, all the primetime channels, it's all about very polarized. We are moving into a society which is highly, highly polarized, with a strong point of view. And that, of course, has a strong impact on what we create and what we do. Similarly, sustainability, it's a driving megatrend. It was a very important megatrend, and it was accelerating, but actually pandemic made it a driving megatrend, because all of us sitting at home suddenly realized, why do I need so many clothes? Why do I keep buying? I mean, the whole thing about rethinking, getting back and saying that sustainability has to become a way of life. So it's gained a lot of momentum. And the third categorization is ambivalent megatrends. These are always there. These are there as standard forces, which are not really very strong, but they are constantly there. So it is a big subject, and each one we need to know. But I'm going to just pick one from here to illustrate, how these trends impact what products and what categories, and how it impacts in our way of thinking and way of creation. So let's pick connected world. I thought that was most relevant during the last 2 years. That's something which is really picked up. So let's look at connected world and what we are doing right now. I'm sitting in Bangalore and giving this, and but I have in the past come to your institute and in person given, spoken to all of you. I mean, that was a different experience altogether. But this is a different experience altogether. I mean, we are able to reach so many people, and this is what has happened, and everybody is practicing it. So presence is more than just being there. And the whole thing of, digital alternatives to physical presence has really caught on, and that's really become a way of life right now. So what has this trend done? I mean, we have seen in our own lives the whole thing about cloud clubbing, telemedicine, online gaming, virtual learning. All of this has become so pronounced. And I mean, I hear that so many educational startups, I mean, there are unicorns, of course, and there is so much happening in the virtual learning space. So all of these newer business stand to gain from a very drastic shift which has happened in the last 2 years. So this trend has that kind of an impact. Distributed workforces. I mean, it's an extrapolation from the previous one. So even after the pandemic goes away, I think it's going to be a way of life. We are going to be calling for a meeting, and we'll have so many people participating in it, unlike earlier, but had to travel to that particular place. And so this distributed workforce, irrespective of the geography, will become a norm, and it will continue to stay so even after we come out of this pandemic. The other thing is the further innovation in this whole space when we are doing all of this work from home, and adding on virtual reality, so that your virtual presence is felt even more real, is the work which is happening, so that in our calls and when you are present, your virtual self is there, and which kind of people believe that increases the attention span, and there is a lot of work happening in this space. So without the need to travel, your virtual self is being present there and participating in meetings. So much is happening. Even our own Shadi.com has done what is needed here. I mean, weddings became difficult, isn't it, last 2 years? And this whole thing about, weddings from home, via live streaming, all of that, a company like Shadi.com has quickly transformed their services and become digital savvy, and they have become digitally connected to kind of take care of the needs of the consumer. So look at one fundamental shift in a trend, how they have impacted. I'm just showing you a glimpse of, how they impact our way of life, thinking, product creation, services, everything. So earlier we used to say, the human touch is very important and human interface, and that's what COVID has changed. I mean, we don't want a human being in front of us, right? I mean, we would rather be happy dealing with a robo or a computer. And so how, work is on, and robots will be integrated in our economy in the coming decades. That's really going to happen. And look at this, for something like, AR, the whole importance of AR and VR has gone up in our lives so much in the last 2 years. And for example, this April, Zara had launched, a AR for the in-store display. So you take a camera, look at their, shop window, and then you can go through the entire show of, seeing the models wearing the pieces from the latest line. Another, this is very interesting. If you look at the Wanna Kicks, it's a AR-based app that enables customers to try on different pairs of sneakers from the 3D models. How cool is it? Isn't it? So you're actually not, so you're trying out the product virtually. So these things are important. The design of these things are extremely, extremely important, because that's how the world is moving. And then you choose your product so easily. So the point here is a fundamental shift, or the digitally connected world has brought in so many changes in our way of thinking, way of working, and hence these are the changes which happens when you look at it from a design point of view too. Let me do a quick time check. Okay. So now I'm going to move to a case study. So what I have tried to establish so far is three things. One is, I'm saying changing consumer is very important. You need to look at consumer, understand them, filter, get the insights. The other important thing is look at mega trends, look at trends and their influence in our life. So I strongly believe in this philosophy that when you have a deep understanding of the consumer, you're aware of all the trends which are, and you are able to interpret it in the right manner for your product or your category. And marry both of this knowledge with the right inspiration, that's when you come up with something which is truly wow. And I hope I'm able to corroborate that through an example. And I've picked a brand, Titan Raga. And I hope many of you here who are listening to me have heard of this brand. Titan Raga is very special. I will take you through the journey of Raga, say almost 10, 12 years back, and to Raga now, and try to build the journey and how the transformation has happened. So Titan Raga, when we started off, actually it was a brand which was launched in 1994, but it didn't do much. It was launched as a collection, and it was a collection of just ethnic watches, didn't have its own identity, did not have much of an insight. It just continued to be there. Nothing really happened to that brand. But the unique thing about Raga is it is designed for Indian women. And these are not clones of any gents watches. And this is the only brand within the category to cater to women's specific needs. So it has a beautiful range that includes traditional, contemporary, and dressy watches. And it's one of the few categories with a dedicated brand to target women. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the period of 2005. At that point in time, now there are many other brands which are catering specifically to the Indian woman, specifically for women's category, all of that. But at that point in time, Raga had really pioneered that. So let's take a look at what this brand was all about in the period 2005 to 2010, and what was the design language and what was design trying to do then. And then let's take a look at what is Raga today, and right from consumer, right from trends and to the product. That's exactly, I'm trying to build that relationship. So 2005 to 2010, and Raga's key brand positioning was all about sensual self-expression. So that led itself, it's all about the keywords for elegance, intimate, sophisticated, and it was all about celebrating relationship. Even in 2005, we felt that, she has found a place for herself and she was changing. She was educated, she was trying to be a lot more independent and mobile and media savvy, travel, Western influence, all of that. See, even then we were saying she was changing. Even now we are saying she's changing. The very fact that we are all constantly changing, and change is the only constant. So this was the consumer we had portrayed during that period. So we kindly figured out that fusion is her way of life. She's very rooted, yet she is free. I mean, she is like a mix and match of past and the present. She's trying to strike a balance between her roots and her current influences, between her family and between her own interests. So, trousers, jeans, and, all there, that was like a big thing in that point in time. And when women were doing that. So you kids who's joined now may not really relate to that, but I'm saying 10 years back, that is how it was. And so it actually became a multifaceted brand, and that's how we defined Raga at that point in time. So, and also deep research showed us she was really missing something, a watch which was very jewelry-like, which would actually match the kind of jewelry she used to wear. So there was a big gap, and which is what Raga, the brand, the designs tried to address. So when what happened, this was in the year 2005, we roped in Rani Mukherjee, who was very popular at that point in time, and she became our ambassador, and we created collections of watches, very feminine, taking all of those keywords, elegant, feminine, and which actually exudes sensuality. It was more dressy, more flamboyant, and it was jewelry-like. So on her one hand, the watches, which would match with the jewelry she would wear. And that was really the inspiration. So 2005, 2006, it got a little more glam quotient with some, we called it the Raga Shimmer. And these were the watches which were created at that point in time, which was catering to her needs. And each and every collection I'm showing you was a blockbuster. And every Diwali, we would come out with this, and people would really wait for Raga launch for Diwali. And design, why I'm saying this, I'm not getting too much detail of design, but every watch was designed with a specific, keeping her in mind. So every product was a big hit in market. Of course, it helped us to build the brand Raga. And even till today, design is at the center of brand Raga. And this was Raga Diva, which is a lot more glamorous, a lot more, we try to bring in the meenakari and the enamel and all of it, created something which was very, very dressy. So Raga Diva, I mean, this is just to say at that point in time, it was all about celebrating the woman, her beauty, her sensuality, all of this expressed the diva in you and real. This was the brand positioning, and hence the design was also aligned to that. Now, fast forward. Let's move to 2021 and 2020 and the last 2-3 years. So let me give you a glimpse of what Raga is today. Before what Raga is today, let's look at the trends and look at some of the user changes. So today, if you look at some of the attire trends, today women wear sari with sneakers. Today, people wear sari with their, their leggings. The way of dressing up itself has changed. The way of the hairdo has changed. And today, woman, if you look at the behavioral trends, she doesn't fit into a stereotype at all. And a beauty of a woman does not lie in her society imposed idea of perfection. It is nothing. It's not about sensuality. Today, feminine and sensuality, sensual, if you as a keyword, has been replaced by modern and bold. And it's all about her. It is not about her beauty. It is not about her looks. It is about her inner strength. It is about her resilience. And if you see, this is how today's woman has transformed herself too. So could Raga have, continue to cater to her beauty, to her sensuality, to her jewelry-like expression? No. So the changing consumer has led to the changing, evolving brand. The brand has evolved. And what has happened to design? This is just a mood board of today's, the Raga persona. She is bold. She dresses up the way she wants. She's living a life she wants. She's happy to flaunt her flaws and everything and celebrate herself. It's not a celebration of beauty at all. So the fundamentally, the description of a today's woman is very different. I mean, look at her hairdo, one side red, one side black, and that's what it is, and that's what she loves. So the consumer of Raga has changed from that woman who she was in 2005 to what she is today. So look at the new Raga. I'll show you the two collections. One was 2000, this is 2020, and the next one I will show is 2019. The kind of products and the kind of Raga collections we are doing now. Look at the persona of the woman, celebrate every facet of hers. And this is the product design, which is transformed with that. Yes, there is a glam, there is a dressiness because it's a special wear. Raga is a special wear. It's also priced where, you wear Raga for celebrating something. So design has to take care of those cues. Few things have to continue because it is the same brand which is evolving, but you have to capture the evolution of the brand through your design by making it modern, contemporary, gold, yet keeping some of the innate quality of the brand constant. So some more visuals of this collection, Raga Facets, where we are celebrating her inner strength. As I said, we are celebrating her thought process, her intelligence. And, so this is one which is inspired. It's her iridescent, which we are talking about. So very modern, very contemporary, yet it is not like a modern fashion brand. I mean, you cannot compare this with a Gucci or a DKNY or a Diesel. This is modern and contemporary to the Indian woman who has changed. This is for her dressy occasion. She will not wear that particular watch for her. So when you're dressing up well and you need a watch to complement, this is the watch she chooses, which goes with her Western attire, which also goes with her Indian dresses. So this is the kind of product she chooses. The previous one is we had launched a collection called Raga I Am, wherein it's that the line itself is flaunt your flaw. And I don't know if you have seen the commercial. It talks about she's a lady pilot, who actually looks at the mirror and it's her flaw, and that is what she has earned is her respect. And so the product design, if you see, has got a very raw feel to it. It's got the crystals, the choice of crystals, the shapes, and all of that. It depicts that particular story. So Raga I Am, this is the previous collection, which is moved with the times with the woman. And these are some of real life Raga customers who have come back. This is from their Insta and all of that. They come back and told us how much they relate to what the context is and how much they love our products. Now, I think I have, how much time? 10 more minutes. So I'm going to I've shown you the result. Now I'm going to show you the process of connecting between insights and trends, and how do you go about designing it? How do you build in tangible design codes based on insights? So I'm going to give you an example of a Raga collection, which was launched last year. And let me start with the trends and with the key insight, which we used for our collection. So we called it micro breaks, which is celebrating small happiness. So this whole, this mood board talks about, don't wait to be happy, appreciate small moments. They are everywhere. And, sit down billing. So we could see it, even in our retail stores. In Netflix, this whole thing about from Marikondo become, does it spark joy? Even a simple act of clearing up, cleaning your cupboard it gives you joy. So small things, how it gives you joy. And this, the science of well-being and Yale's popular class ever on happiness. So these are small things which we kind of picked up. And it's then the key thing is happiness is becoming a design direction as consumer look for experience and products that brush away doom and gloom. And as you know, last year we were all in doom and gloom. We were all sitting at home and we were impacted by the first wave of pandemic. And we didn't know much about it. In fact, we were a lot more cautious, I guess, than we did before the second wave. And it was a period like that where happiness is what people were seeking. And it was the small moments of joy. So we took that as a key insight, as a key design, deep design story, that life is lived in moments. So the important thing is, if you think of a theme like life is lived in moments, how would you translate it into product design? So I'll just show you a brief video to just corroborate this point. I hope it's audible.
Yogasanas for morning.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इसके अंदर बहुत सारी
I hope you were all able to relate to at least some of those moments. All of us have gone through it, and that was a key essence we derived, and we wanted that to be the key story for our collection. And if you do, when we did the the research, and these are what people are talking about in their Instas, in their Facebook, and all of that. And those small moments are, an extra cuddle, round and delicious almond-loaded cornflakes is like start of my day. And people are really celebrating those small moments. And de-stressing is necessary. I love to wind up in my bed with a good book. Small things that brings a sense of joy and happiness in people. And hence, we took that happiness trigger as an important thing, and we looked at it in three different subcategories. The kid in you, which is basically about play and nostalgia, enhancing the calm, which was also needed during last year, visual harmony, tactile de-stressing, extraordinary in ordinary, which is the joy of surprise. And if we look at each of these, and then we will come to the products. The kid in you, for example, products that enable joyful experiences or moments of joy will be increasingly important as the emotion economy develops. So there has to be some of those, elements which you can just feel and touch and do, and it's like fun, that's important, which makes you feel good. Enhancing the calm, of course, a lot of mood boosting products and all of that, some bit of aromatherapy, which kind of uplifts your mood. And look at this oddly satisfying animation. I mean, just sit there and keep looking at it, and it's just such a delight. It's so satisfying, these movements, and makes you really calm down, make you feel, much more calmer. And extraordinary and ordinary. This is a product from Otilia Swarovski. A simple crystal there, has how beautifully distorted the image and has given something which is so beautiful. So such a small act can actually bring in total, complete delight. It depends on how the way you look at it as designers, how you look at it. So we came up with this moments of calm, delight, surprise, pleasure, joy, and this was our approach to the brand. And we said we are going to do these moments of joy by Raga. So that was the whole theme and the story. So how we went about doing it. So let me show you some products. Well, this is specific to the category, so I won't get into the technicalities of it, but I want to say, how could you convert a thought process like that to something like, so as I said, there are three categories, the kid in you. So the whole thing is about, fidgety movements. And, there is the semicircular ring here, which kind of moves. And with the motion of your wrist, you can just feel it. It's high on sensory, so this thing, sensorial, tactile feel, and simple, using a certain color. So there are certain things as category truth. There is a certain way a watch is made for it to function, right? So you've got to keep those codes intact. But how do you bring in the elements from your story into the product to make it different? For example, this is an example of extraordinary on ordinary. And it's actually a very simple, every watch has got a mineral glass on top of it, which is with facets, which has made it look extraordinary like a crystal, but it's a simple usage of that. It's a rose gold design with, a mesh strap and a beautiful profile, which kind of makes it very special. The other one is with this, and this is both extraordinary, ordinary, and the calm. And this again, something you can wear it both ways. Push it and you don't see the crystals, and you do see the crystals. So it transforms to a dressy look, to a very casual look when you rotate it. And it's got a texture on it, and there's a tactile, and there is an urge to touch it, and the rest of the details are there. This is another watch which has got, a joyful movement. I mean, this is also the kid in you. There is a lot of play. I mean, Swarovski crystals, and, it looks, you can view them, and it creates a beautiful pattern every time it kind of moves, creates a visual harmony. And this is a design which has been created, a beautiful product. This is again another one, the kid in you. Here again, these are all crystals which you see on the bracelet. They are all moving crystals. You can have it one, you can wear it with the plated side, you can wear it with the crystal side, and it's got a nice antique finish. And so the playfulness is something which has come into this. And finally, it was launched as a collection, Raga, Moments of Joy. A little indulgence is a joy to me, and that was the thought. So here, it's so beautiful that the design thought, which is inspiration, which is derived from insights and trends, went all the way into translating into the product, has gone into communication. I mean, so when the same story is, the same inspiration is told as a communication, there is a wow factor, and that creates a nice feeling for the users. And this is another ad which talks about adding some sparkle is a joy to me. So this is how I just wanted to take you through the evolution of Raga then to Raga now. And that evolution is triggered by the changing consumer needs. And it is very important to understand how the consumer is changing, looking at what else is changing around it, and developing a design language which is very, very relevant and to that need you're creating. So I come to the end of my presentation, and I just like, as you guys are students and you're freshly into this, would like to tell you that always keep curious, ask lots of questions, don't just accept what is coming your way. Of course, creativity, I mean, you're in it, so you really got to enhance that and have this desire to learn and grow at all times. And this is something which I end with whenever I talk to students in any presentation, and I want to do it with you guys also, is to you spend time with consumers. Don't sit in isolation in your room with your imagination. Spend time, go out to the market, be there, understand, look at Insta, look at today, everything is available so easily. Spend time with consumers, you will derive a lot of insights. Spend time at the periphery. That's where the innovation is sitting. So spend a lot of time at periphery. See how you can apply it in your field. Make it a habit of asking why not, what if. I mean, do that. And try. Trials are very important. Do some experiments and look for ways to learn without spending money. I mean, today all that is available. So do make best use of it. Always look for intersections. And on that note, I wish you all the very best. And I sincerely hope that you guys will make it big. Enjoy this journey, and God bless. Thank you so much. And I'm on the dot at 12. I've finished my presentation. Thank you. I'll stop sharing my presentation.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, Revathi. That was indeed a really insightful presentation. And I love that you started with one of the most important learnings for any designer, that challenges are opportunities. And then you talked us through a varied range of topics, from empathy to consumer profile, consumer behavior, to design, the relative nature of design. And I was really impressed, and I really enjoyed your slides on Titan Raga, which showed us, how to convert intangible emotions into tangible products and how that changes with time. And I definitely have gained a lot from this presentation, and I'm sure our students would have as well. So in conclusion, I thank you again so much for making the time for our students. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. My pleasure being here. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you. Have
Bye,
a nice
everyone.
day.
Bye-bye.